2016 sees the release of Westworld, short for Western World, an alleged remake of the same-named 1973 Michael Crichton science fiction classic. For the real Westworld, see the same-named Rare View. More on Crichton in the Jurassic Park, Coma, Runaway and Andromeda retrospectives. In the US TV series, which ran 4 seasons from 2016 to 22 with 36 episodes of 60 to 90 minutes each, Delos operates several exclusive theme parks in the near future, including Westworld, with deceptively real androids, human-looking robots, as extras. But for whatever reason, they are called hosts here. Guests are allowed to hurt, kill or have sex with them.
In the night when I start to miss you, in the bed where I used to kiss you.
In the first season with 10 episodes, chief developer Ford implements an update that leads to some hosts gaining sentience, including Dolores and Meth, while Delos head programmer Bernard and CEO Charlotte scramble to fix the problems that arise. A mysterious man in black, also a board member seeking new meaning for his life after his wife's suicide, tries to find the so-called labyrinth, among others by killing Dolores. Meth finds out that she can control other hosts. Bernard discovers that he himself is a host based on Arnold Weber, the other lead developer who died in an earlier attempt to protect those whom he saw the potential for sentience. Dolores finally gains sentience because she's something special, including being Arnold's first robot, so like C-3PO is Anakin's. And at a celebration in the park attended by Delos board members, Ford announces his new story arc and gets killed by Dolores.
In my head, it's all about you. Can't get no sleep without you.
Even though I'm personally not a fan of the show, the first season is undoubtedly really well cast, well made and consistently entertaining. Its only problem, it has absolutely nothing to do with Westworld whatsoever. Since it's not about a robot malfunction and the deceptive security and recklessness of making life more and more dependent on machines for convenience, it's about sentient beings suddenly appearing for reasons, in this case supposedly a result of an update, who look like humans but are in fact no different from Johnny Five in John Badham's must-see 1986 classic Short Circuit, in which a combat robot suffers a lightning strike and suddenly comes to life. So basically, Fake World is nothing more than Number 5 lives, or rather Dolores lives, in R-rated horror splatter Nightmare Land.
In my head.
Or simply another lazy version of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. My tip, if at all, only watch the first season and immediately burn the rest and bury their ashes deep in sacred ground, since fault devil Jar Jar Abrams co-produced this one. Because typical of this cultural low-cost
mystery box, you know,
and his franchise demolition company Bad Reboot, they shamelessly use the Westworld motif even if they didn't understand its concept at all, cause calling it straight Blade Runner rehash 5749 would probably have been too obvious. See also his alleged Star Trek or alleged Star Wars. Like everything from this hack, it starts deceptively promising and full of puzzles that make curious. See also his Lost Fraud. And only by keeping watching you realize that there was never a complete story. Absolutely nothing, if at all, is resolved meaningfully or satisfying, and you just wasted money, time and nerves with following, or better setting, the current SJW trend, horrible woke, often gay garbage. This is also clearly reflected in ratings and viewer numbers, which in the end became so low that they were barely there, but where Abrams has mostly already left the burning franchise building and moved on to the next field with his low-cost minions. More on the Abrams and Peltz scam, among others, in Silence of the Lambs, Candyman, Logan's Run, Cup vs. Fake Mummies, Fake Trek and Fake Disney.
I wonder, do you think of me? Do you think of me?
Season 2 continues Dolores' revolution, killing guests and staff with other enlightened hosts looking for a way out, while constantly telling us how shitty people, aka men, are. It's also not really made clear how damaging or deadly shots or injuries are to the hosts. At some point, simply zombie headshot rules seem to apply, or not, I don't know. And there are constantly wannabe meaningful speeches. There are also Indians running around escorting hosts to the sanctuary, a safe virtual space that humans can't enter. But for some reason they also arrest people or fight against other robots, although with a similar end goal, just what it needed to fill another episode. Together with Bernard, Dolores locates a database that secretly recorded all the behavior of the human guests in order to create an immortality algorithm whatsoever. Meanwhile, Maeve searches for her host daughter and helps her and a few others escape to the sanctuary in the final. Her exclusive magic host control powers, at some point even telepathic and no longer just verbal,
I wonder, do you think of me?
are sometimes more frequent for reasons as in the Shogun world from time to time, sometimes less frequent or not at all as with the Indians, just as the script says. William, the man in black, kills his daughter Emily, thinking she's a host,
Do you think of
and ends up in his personal hell loop, which of course only those who witness this end credit scene even will know, which was apparently somehow planned by Emily as a punishment, whatever. When Delos forces finally secure the park, Bernard creates a host for Dolores, who manages to escape as a fake Charlotte with processor cores, and outside she quickly creates a new Bernard, since she's going to need him soon for fake action and fake conflict to pad the episodes with some filler.
in the night when I start to miss you? In my bed where I used to kiss you.
The second season deals with two different timelines, similar to the first, but confusingly starts at the end and jumps around widely in time and space between episodes, but also within an episode to artificially create confusion and mask the god-awful plot. While the women got an upgrade, now all super duper Mary Sues who suck, all the men were demoted to victims, villains or utter uselessness. And nothing here makes any sense. Why does William get told by Ford Jr. Robot that he should find the door to the refugee, which he can't enter as a human anyway, and constantly tells things that aren't true, which also goes for Dolores, who claimed for example in the first season that the story ends with her and Ted. Sure. She also talks about freedom and choice, but decides for everyone else in order to artificially create conflict and fake action to destroy the sanctuary, and with it all the robo-colleagues inside. But in the wrong body of Charlotte changes her mind later anyway, because of script. Claims that she needs the knowledge of the database about the humans in order to use it against them.
In my head, it's all about you. Can't get no sleep without you.
But after discovering it, there is no change in her behavior, and she kills randomly as before. Or Delos is developing a virus to stop the hosts by destroying each other? Why not just shut them down? Wouldn't that be cheaper and more effective? Maybe because really nobody had a plan here and they made the story up as they went along.
I wonder.
The third season is no longer set in Westworld, but, and this is no joke, in Neo Los Angeles, a futuristic world 2058. So future world in real. The role of the man has practically been downgraded to minus. They basically just stand around in the way, constantly have to be told what to do or not to do, and are exclusively villains, incompetent or dragged along with their nose ring. And it's all about the annoying women, who as usual are constantly taking revenge on the guys, lecturing them or pointing out their mistakes, mostly that they were born male. And we learn that Dolores has only smuggled out copies of herself, what a twist, with which she and with a system liberated. Yes, that's right, we are entering the Matrix now. Help her lapdog that trots along dutifully after her, now in various hosts that she apparently has ready for every occasion. I guess the 3D printer must have been working overtime again. She searches for information about an all-powerful AI in order to confront its co-creator Serac, who appears to be acting outside the system, but in the end is only following instructions from it. That has put non-programmable humans, so-called outsiders, on ice, and for reasons believes it can somehow integrate them into the system with the help of the secret Westworld database. While Bernard wants to stop Dolores, but then somehow doesn't, and then again, however, Mev fights in Nostalgia World.
I knew it! I
mean,
fucking knew it!
Evil Nazi world, of course, and finds out that it was created by Serac, who recruits her to fight Dolores by promising to reunite her with her daughter in the sanctuary, and also blackmailing her with a switch-off button. William, haunted by visions, ends up in an asylum thanks to the Charlotte Dolores host, is freed by Bernard just before the end, only to go straight to Charlotte like a moron in the final end credit scene, just to be inconspicuously killed and replaced by her. Fake Charlotte is, for whatever reason, apparently slowly transforming into real Charlotte, becomes with her family victim of an attack by Serac, but wants, in order to generate fake action, to take revenge on Dolores. So on herself? In the end, Dolores sacrifices herself, and Mev suddenly changes her mind and gets, thanks to that, from the script new helpful switch-off button, switch-off powers to defeat the AI and Serac. And it comes, at least according to the synopsis, because almost nothing is shown, to a civil war. Since this season they only have 8 episodes each, and still mostly padding, as the so-called story wouldn't even fill 2 episodes. In Season 4, Charlotte manages to take control of the world by using a bioengineered virus that infected people over the course of a generation, precisely 23 years, and made them submissive to the commands of the hosts. Sounds almost like the gene manipulating poison injections from when the season came out in 2022. Hence the gay slave mask fucks in the background, with which here the simple-minded masses around the world have been and are still being reprogrammed. These now control the people through stories written by Dolores, who now calls herself for reasons Christine and initially thinks she's developing secondary online game characters. And transmitting by radio signals, yes that's right, now we are at They Live, directly into the famously empty human heads. And of course there are the far right people again, I mean virus-resistant outsiders. In the first half, the lapdog from last season is now, for whatever reason, apparently following Mev around in dream sequences for 7 years after last season, because in reality he's been dead and locked up with Charlotte as a copy. In the second, his countless short-lived clones talk to themselves or run into each other during their escape attempts. His now grown-up, of course lesbian, diverse, alleged daughter and Bernard, just back from the future, aka poor man's Matrix simulation of all conceivable outcomes, and therefore almost omniscient of the plot, which he's constantly explaining when the scriptwriters once again snuck empty pages into the screenplay. And of course there's a bit of the Groundhog Day routine later on. They dig up Mev and recruit the immune self-thinkers against Charlotte's regime. Christine slowly realizes her abilities, that she's got and stuff, and starts using her power over people to her advantage. But then it turns out she's just in a simulation that's being shut down by Charlotte, while Robo William takes care of runaways who, upon contact with hosts, trigger individuality in them, which ends in a rampage and suicide, and decodes, thanks human William, now not dead after all but on ice in a prop stolen from the Tron set, oops, and dead again. A program that plunges the world into a war between humans and hosts. Charlotte uploads Dolores, Christine, whatever to the sanctuary and destroys herself. And while humanity is on the brink of extinction, I certainly am if I have to watch another second here, since my colleague who I managed to trick into watching it at his place kicked me out after episode 2 and banned me and all my hosts or possible future reincarnations for life. She's simulating one last game for who cares.
I wonder, do you think of me? Do you think of me? Do you think of me?
This ultra-woke, totally illogical, wildly everywhere stoned together junk from uneducated simpletons, among others Charlotte Blathers about overcoming carnality, so they are doing it together until the sparks fly? Was this script actually really shat out by an AI? But I thought it deleted itself last season. Whatever. It's so uninteresting and boring that even the toughest review robot units eventually gave up on it, since most viewers, like me back then, had already turned out during the second season anyway.
I wonder, do you think of me? Do you think of me? Do you think of me?
2023, quite funny, parodied in Simpsons World from Treehouse of Horror 33. Here, a Homer android gains consciousness thanks to a short circuit, wakes up other robots from his family and tries to escape with them from an amusement park modeled after classic Simpsons episodes.
I wonder, do you think of me? Do you think of me? Do you think of
For a new episode of the series that, due to unbearably dreadful CGI animation and poor scripts by unfunny humanity-hating woke SJWs, has become unwatchable, this one short segment is the first time for decades it almost regained for 2 seconds its old form.
I wonder.